Okay, let me refresh my screen. And there it is.
Okay, no more dancing.
Well, I used a screenshot for the title page, so it may not have come on yet.
I saw that. There we go. Now I'm seeing it up at the mic.
Yeah.
The mic.
It ain't even come up on mine yet.
Oh,
Oh well. Maybe I gotta do something.
I've got.
Touch it, maybe. There it goes.
Oh, there we go.
3 people watching already. Hot damn it.
One's me, one's you. I guess
Alrighty.
Boston, maybe.
Somebody's watching.
Yeah.
That means
It would be
one.
nice if they would tell whoever's streaming, the names of those watching.
Right. But
Three
it only
names.
does anything if they enter the chat.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I love
That's
your
right.
hair.
And the phone just died. Damn it.
Shit, it was so hot here today.
how hot was it?
I don't know how hot it was, but it's a lot cooler now. It's 85 because it rained a little while ago.
That makes
Feels
such a
good
big
right
difference.
now.
It was 100 degrees here today in New Jersey.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it
I
was
feel
really
bad
hot.
for y'all up north like that. Y'all ain't made for this shit.
Oh, you're not.
But y'all do get it fairly often. It's just luckily for y'all it doesn't last very long.
No. And it does get
It comes
cooler
and
at
it
night
goes.
than it does here.
Here it gets hot and it never really cools down. Every day
Right.
the high goes up a few more tenths of a degree. And that's
Stays
just all
hot.
summer. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When you get
But
shots.
it barely cools
Hi,
off at night.
Pearly. Yeah, that's what happens. It doesn't get cool enough, and then the residual heat from overnight is still
Adds
there,
to
so
it.
that adds to the
Yeah.
next day.
Hi, Pearly.
Yep.
Mm.
But I ain't bitching, y'all, because
I was
my
in
work truck
Florida.
has air conditioning.
That's
Oh,
true,
yeah,
Pepper.
got a
Humidity is very suffocating.
Yup. When I lived in Clearwater, Florida for a summer, it was like 10 o'clock at night and it was 90 degrees and humid. And I said to my friend who lived down there, I said,
That's
so
right.
when does the heat break? He said it did.
It did, that's right.
Yeah, it went down to a chilly 90 from 99 or 100.
And
The
you can
heat will
tell, you
break
can
in
set your clock by
mid-September.
the storms every day at 3 p.m.
On
Pretty
clockwork.
much. That's about the time that the clouds reach high enough. They can only go so high, then they cap off and they drop the water.
That's correct. And you can see it too. It looks like an anvil at
No
the
wyvern
top.
today, Pearly.
It's really cool
Got
looking.
guests at home.
But if you work outside, you count on it. You like praying for that shit.
You bet your ass you are.
You all. The only problem is it gets like super steamy right after. Because they
Mm.
don't last long. They just
No.
get
Worse,
And
it
then the
makes it more
mosquitoes
humid.
come.
Yep, and then the
Yeah.
humidity's like 200%.
Yep, it's like that here too. Ugh.
Like a
Hi,
sauna.
Morgan.
Life
Yep.
in the deep
Really
south,
like a
y'all.
sauna.
Hi, Morgan. Yep.
It's a good thing we got good food. I'd have moved away a long
Good
time
food
ago.
and central air and heat, brother.
Yes, ma'am. Well, the heat. I use it
Yeah.
probably a total of 3 days all year.
When it gets down to 70,
In the winter when it gets down to like the 40s.
I
There's Jim.
love
Hi,
that
Jim.
And that
There's
only
the
happens
weather.
for a few days.
There's Jimbo.
every
Oh,
year.
he
I
sat
like
down
that
on the
skirt.
floor.
A lot
Yeah,
of
and you
times we
had
don't even need to
snow.
turn on the heater. Because if you cook dinner, it kind of warms up the house enough.
we've been thinking of
Or he's
we've
not
been
really
thinking of
that
a couple
cold.
places to retire, a nice 2-bedroom ranch. 2000.
South Pole.
And
Not New
all the
Orleans.
good options. Like you can get 46 acres with a brand new ranch built.
Where at?
129,000 in West Virginia. But then they got floods and shit all the time.
Where at?
Oh,
West
floods.
Virginia. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's why it's
fucking
a
mountains,
keep.
bro. Flash floods and shit.
they get flash floods like crazy, right? And so, you know, my sister said to me the other day, she goes, yeah, New Hampshire, it gets cold in the winter, and, you know, you got your summer, it gets hot, but we don't have the weather issues that the rest of the country have, like tornadoes, hurricanes, you know, very rarely.
That's true. There's never been a hurricane that goes all the way to New Hampshire with any
Well,
kind of strength.
there has.
Not with any kind of strength. Even Sandy, by the time that
Yeah, by
got
the
there, that was
time
nothing.
Across the
Not like
continent.
a one.
It's just a storm.
But
Some water.
you do have the nor'easters, which can be
The
just as
nor'easter
bad. as-
hit 100 miles an hour, and
No,
And,
it'd
and
be just as
also,
bad.
and all them hills and shit, man. Y'all can't handle the rain like we
Jim.
can. You know,
No,
you get
and
3
all
or 4
powers in
inches
one
in a
place.
couple
He's
hours.
dancing,
and
he's
fucking-
sitting.
Valleys turn into torrents. At least
That's
here,
right.
you get that much
Mountains.
rain, it just kind of, it floods, but it ain't like, the water ain't moving nowhere. So,
Our
not
White
so
Mountains
dangerous.
breaks up a lot of moisture and winds. The White Mountains, they just break it right up. So it goes way over, you know. So we're right at the valley of the White Mountains. That's cool. Now we're thinking we're gonna stay.
that was a quick turnaround.
Well, I hope you got that straightened out, Jimbo.
Yeah, they could be a bitch.
Where the market is right now.
It was like 15 years old. It works pretty good. Ain't no more bugs left in it.
Yeah, after all those years, they're all worked out.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get about updates all the time. They couldn't put it out right in the first place. Hey, Rain. Good to see you, man.
Hey everybody,
Hey,
Hey, Rain.
come on, buddy.
nice to see you all.
Hello, Rain.
What do you mean by that?
You know, that other
Just
hooligans, the
imagine.
swingers club, that's somewhere else.
Coming to you live from the sex shop.
Gee.
Actually, I almost texted you today and then I forgot, so I got busy doing something else. But yeah, I almost texted you today.
Oh, I know I'm so important. I can tell.
Yeah, but that isn't what Finn said about you.
Morgan never says hi.
What do you mean what's Fed said? I didn't say nothing. Don't start anything like that.
No, it's
I-
all good. It's
Good.
all good. It's all good. It's called shtick. It's called improvisation.
Oh, Morgan. Nice to see you tonight, Morgan.
Yeah, it's the thing they stick up your butt and you go anywhere
not-
they want. That kind of
Sounds
shit.
German Jewish. That's not
Sounds
allowed
like
in here. I'm being anti-Semitic.
Hey, you gotta
Popsicle.
buy me
That's
dinner
a
and
nurse
shit
joke.
first
Only
before you
you
start
nurses
going up my
get
rep.
that. I'm sorry, a doctor joke.
All right, you're forgiven for insulting me.
Oh, that's
Medical,
okay. You put,
medical.
That's not
industry.
nice.
You know what? In all honesty, I started out as a paramedic, and I started out as a paramedic and a licensed practical nurse. So yeah,
Oh boy.
so
Well,
I
I
did
grew
start
up
out-
in an area or in an
Don't
era
say there,
where most of the doctors were
Porcelana, you
male.
don't say.
and the nurses were female.
Huh, the way you said that.
Doctors appreciate it.
Hey, you ain't trying to say no joke, are you?
No,
Alright, no
I
jokes
think so.
allowed in the audience. Gotta get on stage.
That's right.
I just hate that,
You
that
wanna
thought,
jug
you know,
around?
where a doctor
I like
says,
how you-
oh, okay, Mr.
Go.
Fiddler, just stand still. This will only take a second. We're gonna stick a stick up there and take
take your
a
temperature.
Yeah, well, they taught us how to use our fingers.
Damn.
Yeah, that's in the military. Bend over.
Bend over, sweetheart. Here comes the club.
Here
Comes
comes
the
death.
stick.
We're going to be up close and personal.
I did always wonder what they were looking for.
Well,
Looking for, they never find it.
Somebody's brain, maybe?
yeah, we're still lucky.
Well, some of those military people I've met, yes, I believe that.
Hitler?
All right, y'all. 8 minutes after the hour.
Yes,
Time to
sir.
start.
Time to
It
start.
is that
Time.
time.
Let's get
Welcome
it.
to Hooligans Underground. Welcome to the standing room. And thanks for coming, y'all. And anything special this week? No, not really. All right, so I'm just gonna start us off with a good old regular old Boudreaux joke.
Boudreaux.
Here it
We
comes.
And
love
I heard
Boudreaux.
somebody talking about a doctor, so I just happen to have a Dr. Abed joke right up here on the top list.
Awesome.
Yeah, I went to medical school with Bear.
Now Boudreaux went to see Dr. Abed, and he says, "Hey Doc, I'm worried about Marie. I think she gone deaf. Now every time I tells her to do something, I got to repeat it 4, maybe 3 times, every time." So the doctor, Dr. Abed, he says, "Well, Boudreaux, we can check it out really easy. He said, when you go home tonight, just stand away from her, about maybe 15 feet, and call her and see if she answers you. And if she doesn't answer you, move closer. Try it again. Every 5 feet until she answers you. Let me know. Then we know how bad her hearing is for real." Well, of course, Boudreaux likes that idea. So he goes home and he walks up behind Marie, who happened to be in the kitchen, and he says, "Hey, Marie, what's for dinner?" No reply. Nothing at all. He moved about 5 feet closer. He says, "Hey, Marie, what's for dinner?" Still no reply. Nothing. 5 more feet. Same thing. Next thing you know, he's right behind her, practically breathing in her ear. He says, "Baby, what's for dinner?" Nothing. Now, after a few seconds, Marie turned around. She yelled. She says, "For the 4th."
That was good.
That's one of my favorites.
Bad hearing.
Woo!
That was really hard to
That's a scenario that goes on houses all across America,
All across
all
America.
around the world.
Yeah,
What'd you
but
say?
That's good.
That ain't a
That's,
boot.
that's too honest
Damn,
to,
That's
it
fact.
ain't hers.
to be listening to.
That's her funny.
Gumbo.
Oh, no.
All right, y'all.
Yourself.
I might need to pay attention to this one. It's a little bit long.
We like
All right. Now, ever since Boudreaux was a young boy, he always wanted to grow up and be a streetcar conductor. You know, because he grew up down there by New Orleans. He's seen them streetcars. Now, when he finally became old enough, he applied for the job and he got that job. Now, Boudreaux was the friendliest streetcar conductor that the city of New Orleans has ever seen. Not only did he never complain about his job, but he greeted everybody who boarded his streetcar and treated everybody, you know, like family, like New Orleans people do.
Yeah.
But he did it better.
Yeah. Right.
Now, everything in his life was perfect until one day.
Uh-oh.
One day, he decided to operate the streetcar after having a few drinks.
Uh-oh.
Yep. In his drunken state, he crashed that streetcar and he killed everybody on board.
Oh, my dear Lord.
Yep. Went to court. Now, Boudreaux, he was sentenced to death by electric chair.
Ooh.
Now,
Dang.
when
That's
that day
serious.
came, a guard visited Boudreaux's cell and he asked him what he wanted for his final meal. Boudreaux replied, he says, "I want a rotten tomato and a raw fish." Now, After Boudreaux finished his meal, he headed into the execution room, sat down in the electric chair. The warden gave the orders to pull the switch, and the room went dark. Thousands of volts passed through Boudreaux's body.
Woo! Boy.
Now, after that switch was thrown back up, it came as a surprise. Boudreaux was still alive.
That
Wow.
doesn't surprise me.
That means he served his sentence.
Having no idea what else to do, the warden let Boudreaux out of jail. But he banned him from ever operating a streetcar in New Orleans again.
I think so.
Hmm.
Now, since streetcars was Boudreaux's life,
Name Desire.
Boudreaux decided he gonna move to Japan. They got fancy streetcars in Japan. Shit, they got bullet trains in Japan.
Ooh.
Now, in Japan, Boudreaux got a job as a conductor. But as before, he decided that after having a few drinks, he was still able to work. Now, to no surprise, Boudreaux crashed the streetcar, killed everybody on board.
Oh,
Again.
dang.
Again, Boudreaux finds himself in jail, ordering his final meal. Now, a rotten tomato and a raw fish is what he wants. That's what he tells the guard. And after the meal was eaten, Boudreaux went to the electric chair. And once again, y'all, he survived.
Jeez.
Now, since he didn't die, he was set free, but banned from operating the streetcars anymore in Japan.
In Japan.
Now, Boudreaux thought to himself, San Francisco, they got
Oh.
streetcars, and they drank. Now, as you can guess, Boudreaux ends up in the same situation, and he ordered the same meal, a rotten tomato and a raw fish.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, the warden from San Francisco had heard about Boudreaux and his previous death sentences. So before he brought Boudreaux in to be executed, he sent a letter to the mayor asking to reroute the city's entire electrical grid to the jail. They're
Ooh.
gonna fry Boudreaux. They're gonna
Mm.
vaporize him. The mayor approved. And confident with his newfound power, the warden smiled and gave the order to pull the switch. The lights in the room burst from the overload, and the smell of something burning overwhelmed the air.
Mm.
After a minute, the warden ordered the guards to shut off the chair. And as the smoke cleared, there was Boudreaux,
Still alive.
alive.
Wow.
Distraught with emotion, the warden told Boudreaux to get out of his sights. Now, Boudreaux, tired of going to jail, finally decided that maybe, just maybe, he shouldn't be a streetcar conductor after all.
You think?
You think?
So he traveled back to New Orleans and met his friend Thibodeau at the bar.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Thibodeau, after a few minutes of small talk, tells Boudreaux, he says, everyone has heard about the electric chair incidents, and I gotta ask, how you was able to survive all them jolts of electricity through your body? Was there something you did? Boudreaux looks at Thibodeau and he says, I don't know. I guess I'm just a bad conductor.
Oh my God. All that for that.
All that.
Long-winded
All
joke.
that. That one little spinach.
All
The
that.
damn
Just to get
tomato and
there.
the raw fish.
That was a tomato.
Where they're at.
Oh, that
All
was
right, y'all. Open mic time.
Oh,
Time
that
for
I
was
some
got a
jokes
better
up
one.
here. Gleason coming? Gleason's
Nope.
coming?
me.
All right,
Or
Lisa.
Lisa.
Oh,
Did I beat you,
Indora.
Gleason?
Indora, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't have
Go
your
ahead.
name tag
The other
on.
Lisa.
All
Indora.
right,
Sorry.
y'all. Let's
Hi,
welcome up
Indora.
Indora.
And
Oops,
Dora,
sorry, pal.
Hello,
Hey.
everybody. I
hey,
can top that. No, but I think that guy Boudreaux. I think we just, he might make it to the chair, and then somebody will throw the switch and go, zzz, and then throw it back up and go, "Oops, sorry, I missed. But yeah, he's funny. He's something. He'd be a good test case for maybe like a mad scientist or something.
Bro.
So, anyways, good evening, everybody. It's good to see all the smiling, happy faces.
Evening.
Again, it feels like romper room where you go doobie doobie doo and doobie die, and you look and I see this, I see Nick, I see Rain, I see Fidla, I see Glisa, I see Pearly, I see Angel, I see Haley, I see Ron, I see Porcelana, I see Jim, and I see Morgan. So I did good.
Oopsie.
Hope so.
All right,
Ruh-roh.
sorry about that. Had to take a break there for a second. So I swear this little kid named Little Dicky, I swear to God, I think he's Boudreaux's kid. So teacher was in school working with her students, and she was doing double numbers.
Paper towels.
So when she got to Little Dicky, she asked, "Little Dicky, what comes after 69? Well, Little Dicky thought for a second. He says, well, then he blurted out right out and said, mouthwash. And, you get a bunch of adults sitting around and remembering their days in high school and whatever. And just recently I sat down with a bunch of people and we were talking about, what kind of jokes we said in high school and what we said as a kid. And some of them were really corny and stupid, but some were really good. Like, why isn't there a pregnant Barbie doll? Because Ken came in another box.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
And what did Nala say to Simba in bed?
Yes, brat, ain't he?
Mufasa. Also known as Mufester. What did Cinderella say to Prince Charming? Hey,
What?
you want to see if it fits? And here's one. You guys have had to have heard this in high school. You had to. How did Burger King get the Dairy Queen pregnant?
How?
He
Out
forgot
his
to wrap his
Whopper.
Whopper.
He
Ooh.
forgot what?
He forgot to wrap his Whopper.
Oh.
And which animal in the animal kingdom has the largest chest? A zebra.
I don't get it.
A
I didn't see it.
zebra.
Not
The
a
size
zebra.
Z,
Z.
Or a
BRA.
zebra.
Gotcha.
A
A
zebra.
zebra.
Wow, that
A
would be
zebra, right.
And how
Gigantic.
does a wiener go camping?
How?
In a wiener bagel.
That's cute.
That's glamping.
So a white bunch of girls sitting around, and she says, "You know what? My husband asked me to spoon, but I told him I'd rather fork." And you know what? What do you call a nanny with breast implants?
Oh.
A faux pair.
Oh, I was gonna say the
I like
husband's
that.
girlfriend.
A faux pair.
Right?
Yeah, I know. You're corny. Okay, come on, you guys. I'm rolling out some stuff here, and I guess it's not working because I'm not as good as I used to be.
Yeah, it is.
It's
What
working
does a
fine.
robot
talking
do
about?
after a point?
We're all grinning like idiots.
I forgot to have my mic on, that's all.
Somebody said that. There's another joke, but I won't tell it later. Oh, I lost Vid. He just went poof. What does a
Uh-oh.
robot do after a one-night stand? He nuts and bolts.
Peanuts.
No. He
No.
nuts and bolts.
Oh.
Whoa, he's nuts and bolts. Ha ha ha.
All right, you
That's
gotta
good.
get this one, guys. All right, I'm dying here. How did the police catch the naked man breaking into Zales?
How?
He grabbed him by his jewels.
Oh, there you go.
Now, come on. Let's put our dirty minds together. What is 6 inches long and has 2 nuts at the end?
What?
An almond joy.
Almond
Oh,
joy.
Joey's got nuts.
Oh, there's a
Mount.
switch. You went clean on us.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Hey. No, Reed, I got a few in here just for you there, Sunshine. What is long, wide, and a thing that men carry?
Ooh.
Oh,
A tie.
oh, nice.
Oh,
What holds your, here you go. What holds your buns firmly, makes them look round and pretty?
Spanx.
Afraid to ask.
Oh,
A hair tie.
a what?
A hair tie.
Oh, okay.
And I'm thinking of trying to figure something on the grill.
Yeah,
Oh,
you would. I've heard that about you. Got food on the brain all the time. What do you call an Italian hooker?
What?
What?
A prostitute. So you know what? So guys and girls they date, and you go to bars and whatever, and guys will come up to you, and there are some really corny pickup lines. And one guy actually in real life came up to me. He says, "Hey, baby, I'm in the Air Force," and I said, "Yeah, so am I." He goes, "Ah," he walked away. Yeah, never saw him again. What did Winnie the Pooh say to his new love interest?
How do you get this honey jar stuck off my nose?
Show me the honey.
Oh, I was close.
And you know what? And again, some of these are from Honey Pot. Yeah. Some guys are really, some of these guys. These are actual pickup lines. He said, "Were your parents?" This guy walks up to a girl and says, "Hey, were your parents bakers?" "They should have been because you've got a nice set of buns."
it's good when it works.
Eh,
And
I rated it 4 out of 10.
and
If it
another
works,
guy
she's an
walks up
idiot.
to another girl in a bar and he says, "Do you believe in karma?" And the girl says, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Good, because I know some Kama Sutra positions we can try."
I give that a 6.2.
Oh, we're gonna do ratings now.
And here's and this is a girl. This girl walked up to the guy. I actually, honest to God, heard this in real life. This woman walked up to a guy in a bar and said, "Do you work at Dick's?" He goes, "No." She says, "No, he goes, "No, as a matter of fact, I don't." She says, "Well," he says, "Why do you ask?" She goes, "Because you're really sporting the goods."
Whoa.
Dick's Sporting Goods. I get it.
Yeah, got it.
Oh,
Okay. And here's another corny guy one that I actually, honest to God, I heard this in real life. Guy walks up to a girl, walks up to this bar. We're in this nice, sports bar place. He walks up to the girl, and they're like 2 people down, so we can actually hear, music wasn't on yet, so you could actually hear people talking. And guy says to the girl, he says, "Is that a mirror in your pocket?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Why do you ask?" He says, "Because I can see myself in your pants later on."
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Oh man.
So this is tacky guy, but you know what? It was funny. We were sitting at the other end laughing. We bought the guy a drink. We thought it was funny.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
depending on her, I give that an 8.
She wasn't amused though, just saying. Why couldn't a lizard get a girlfriend?
He was
I
a
don't know
lizard.
why.
Why?
Because he had reptile dysfunction.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's bad.
You've been a nice
Yeah, doesn't
audience.
it say
Thank you very
that?
much. I know they probably weren't as funny as you thought they were hoping they were going to be, but hey,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were.
A
They
funny,
were
funnier
what they
than
were.
we
Thanks,
expected.
Endora.
Good job,
I
Endora.
saw
Oh,
Big hand for Endora, everybody.
that deserves an applause.
It does. Damn right it does.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
We're not paying you for it. We'll applaud you.
That's the real value there.
And you need to clean up the bathrooms in the back before you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with an extra burden.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna read this one without pre-reading it. That means anything. Could be
Anything
cool.
goes.
All right, Boudreaux had moved to the big city of New Orleans about 6 months ago to work at a new job. Thibodeau was getting lonesome for his old friend, so he decided to go down to New Orleans and visit him. Now, when he got to where Boudreaux worked, he found that his buddy Boudreaux was working in a very tall building with a lot of big old offices. Now, when he finally found Boudreaux, he was sitting in one of those offices with his feet propped up big on a big old desk, looking all successful and shit. Thibodeau said, "Woo-wee, Boudreaux, look at you doing all right for yourself. How you got so rich looking?" Boudreaux tells him, he says, "Tib, I done went and invented something that everybody needs. I call it a thermos bottle." Thibodeau
Thermos.
asked him, he said, "What the hell's a thermos bottle?" So Boudreaux explained that it's something that keeps your hot stuff hot, your cold stuff cold. Now, a couple days later, Thibodeau goes back to the office, the proud owner of a brand new thermos, a thermos bottle. For some reason, this joke is written without the H in thermos. I don't know why. Who asses? We say our H's. We say
Right.
more of them, actually. We put them where they don't even belong sometimes.
It's endearing.
So Boudreaux says, "Thibodeau, I see you went and got you one of them thermos bottles. That's very nice. What you got inside it?" Thibodeau says, "Me, like you told me, it keeps stuff hot and it keeps stuff cold. So I poured myself chili and a Pop Rouge."
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, I screwed that one up,
Yuck.
but y'all got the idea. Do y'all even know what a Pop Rouge is?
It has to be a soda.
Yeah, it's a soda. Yeah, I think it was a local soda down here in New Orleans back in the 70s. It's like a red drink, like
Like a, you know,
a Fanta or something.
right.
Yeah, like strawberry.
Strawberry, yeah.
Yuck. That sounds really
You're right.
yucko.
It wasn't funny.
It sounds really good. No.
That wasn't good. That was a stupid joke. And I'm gonna try to find one that ain't as stupid.
Oh my goodness, don't worry about it. Just let it rip.
Go ahead.
All right, here you go. Y'all might have heard this one. All right, Cowboy Thibodeau. Did y'all know that we got cowboys down here in South Louisiana? They is
Oh,
cowboys.
really?
They
Yeah,
Cajuns, but they
ride
cowboys.
gators.
Cowboys
They wear
everywhere.
cowboy hats and they ride they ride horses.
They ride gators.
That's a cowboy.
They don't
Yep.
ride
All right,
alligators.
Cowboy Thibodeau walked into the last Roundup saloon the other day, dressed in his finest cowboy outfit. He had his 10-gallon hat on, his best chaps, and his spurs as well. Now, as he sat there sipping on a beer, a good-looking young lady came in and sat next to him. A few minutes later, she was looking at Thibodeau up and down, and she says, "Is you a real cowboy?" To which Thibodeau answered, I've been on the ranch all my life roping cows, breaking horses, fixing fences, and chasing women.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm a cowboy.
Ah, boy.
And he looks at her, up and down. Said, what about you? The young lady says, well, I've never been on a ranch, never roped a cow, never broke a horse, ain't never mended no fences. So no, I ain't no cowgirl. But I do think about women all of the time. I wake up in the morning, I think about women.
Ooh.
When I eat, work, shop, thinking about women. I am a lesbian.
Ah,
Okay. A few minutes later, she gets up and she leaves. After a while, Boudreaux walks in, sits down next to Thibodeau, says, hey, partner, are you a real cowboy? Well, Thibodeau looks at him and says, well, I thought I was, but I guess I'm just a lesbian. I don't know if that could be offensive to anybody, but, you
It's
know.
funny as hell.
I just like the word lesbian. Nothing rhymes with lesbian.
Thespian.
Thespian.
There's a
Thespian.
challenge.
All right. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Muy bien.
I just said that.
I'm
All right.
understood.
Boudreaux and Marie was going out for the evening. The last thing they do is put the cat out. The taxi arrives, and the couple walks out of the house. The cat sneaks back in. Boudreaux returns inside to chase out the cat. Now, Marie, she didn't want it to be known to the cab driver that the house would be empty. You know, you can't trust them cab drivers. So she explains to the taxi drivers, my husband is just going upstairs to say goodbye to my mother. Several minutes later, an exhausted Boudreaux arrives and climbs back into the taxi. As he's climbing in, he says, sorry, I took so long. The stupid idiot was hiding under the bed. I had to poke her with the coat hanger several times before I can get her to come out. Yeah, I thought that one was more funny. But I guess I could be wrong. And in which case, open mic. All right, Pepper, Pepper, Pepper.
Hey.
All right, everybody, let's welcome up the great Pepper to the stage.
Woohoo, Pepe.
Thank you. I walked into the living room the other night, and Nick was sitting there screaming at the TV. Don't go into that church, you stupid bastard. Nick, what are you watching? Turned around and replied, our wedding video.
Dang, Nick.
One stubborn coon ass here.
That's funny.
Jim's wife found out that she was adopted. She was so devastated and kept asking, why didn't they want me? He comforted her for a while. Still crying, she asked him to make love. Led to more tears. On reflection, banging her from behind, shouting, who's your daddy? Was a little unfair.
These are good.
Fiddler went into the store the other day, and he forgot to zip his pants. So an old lady politely told him, sir, your garage is open. He zipped them up and asked, did you see my monster truck parked inside? Lady smiled back and said, no, just one small Toyota with 2 flat tires. Hey, that's mine for the night. Thank you.
Well done,
Good
Pepper.
job, Pepper.
Well done, Pepper.
personal.
All right.
Yeah.
Big hand for Pepper, y'all.
And for the pepper.
That last one that had me laughing so hard I was choking. I had to turn my mic off. I couldn't even recover quick enough. She got off stage. That's why they was silent. All right, here's one.
Oh, sorry.
Might be a little better than the last one, but I ain't guaranteeing nothing. All right, Boudreaux and Thibodeau and their wives went to a party one weekend. They had a little too much of that soda pop with the foam on top. I guess that's beer, y'all. Especially Thibodeau. And everybody was laughing at him for getting so drunk. Now, after a while, Thibodeau couldn't find his wife, Clotilde, so he went looking for her. Now, he finally looked in one of the upstairs bedrooms and found his wife in bed with Boudreaux. They was both as drunk as Thibodeau was.
Damn.
And they was, doing what drunk people do in bed.
Nasty.
Sleep.
Thibodeau runs back downstairs and yells to everybody. He says, "Hey, y'all think I'm drunk? Come upstairs and see Boudreaux. He's so drunk, he thinks he's me." Wah, wah, wah.
It was good.
I got a half of a joke here. I'm gonna put that to the side. Maybe one day we'll find the other half. The back half,
Heard in
I
there
can read it
somewhere.
to you. All right. The next time his wife seems to be in a very good mood, he shares the idea with her that a new partner would be exciting. "Honey," says the wife, "that won't help. We tried it already." All right. That's the end of the joke. I think I told that joke like a couple weeks ago. I don't know why it's on two separate pages. It ain't even a long joke. All right, here's one. Boudreaux and Marie was walking through a garden when suddenly a dog ran towards them. Now, they both knew that that dog was going to bite them. So Boudreaux lifted up Marie to let the dog bite him rather than his sweetie. Now, the dog stopped before him, unsure what to do. It barked a little bit, then it ran away. Now, Boudreaux put Marie down, expecting a hug and a few kind words of gratitude. But Marie shouted and screamed. She says, "I've seen people throwing sticks at dogs. This is the first time anybody ever tried to throw his wife at a dog."
Ungrateful.
I know, huh? I mean,
Hey, if it works,
I'm picturing a dog thinking it's about to get flattened by a woman. And I've seen videos, I swear I've seen videos of some woman was swinging her little toy dog, like fighting with somebody. She was swinging that thing like a medieval weapon or something. I can't think of the word. That thing on the end of a chain with spikes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they call that, but that's what that little dog was doing.
Poor baby.
Not a mace. No. Oh, there's a,
Using her dog for
Yeah.
a taser.
it's a French.
All right, Boudreaux, this is my last
Taser,
one before we
taser,
do open
taser.
mic. Boudreaux tells Thibodeau that he thinks his woman is cheating on him with the man who lives right across the bayou. Now, Thibodeau suggested that they wait until nightfall and use the rifle that has a scope on it to look across the bayou and see. Because they got night vision, y'all. Now, when nightfall comes, Thibodeau gets the rifle. He looks across the bayou. He says, "Yep, you right, Boudreaux. She's in there with him right now." Boudreaux hands Thibodeau 2 bullets. "All right, Thibodeau, I want you to take 1 bullet, shoot her in the mouth for lying to me. And with the other bullet, use that to shoot his dick off."
Oh.
Ooh.
Thibodeau hands back 1 bullet and says, "Hold on, bro. I could do that in one shot. Nasty, I'm telling you.
That's bad.
All right, open mic time. Who got
I'll
some?
go up.
All right,
Okay,
All right,
Fiddler.
Fiddler.
All right, y'all. Let's welcome up Fiddler to the stage.
Thank you.
Hey,
And Jim will be next. I'll see you in a minute.
I did see Jim too. I'm sorry, Jim. But anyways, good evening. And as you know, I have some really stupid one-liners.
Yeah,
All right, we're digging it.
Yeah.
I don't like my stupid multi-liners.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Start with this one. Laugh alone and the world thinks you're a fucking idiot.
True.
Resemble that.
Last night I laid in bed looking up at the stars in the sky and I thought to myself, where the fuck is the ceiling?
That's a good one.
Woo! You were on the porch.
Learn from your parents. Mistakes. Always use birth control. This is very true. Where there's a will, there's a few hundred relatives.
No kidding. If there's anything in the will, you know that's right.
That's true.
Laughing stock. Cattle with a sense of humor. I asked for a bike, but I know God doesn't work that way. So I stole a bike and asked for forgiveness.
I actually see you doing that.
So do I.
This is true. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is absolutely 100% optional.
No
True.
kidding. That is absolutely true.
There's this few ladies, when climbing up the ladder of success, don't let the boys look up your skirts.
Oh, I don't mind that.
What fun is that?
Experience is something you don't get until just after you need it. Right then and there.
Yeah. Isn't that the
The
truth?
truth.
Attitudes? I don't have an attitude problem. You have a perception problem. An ex-girlfriend told me once, and I mean once, I'm real easy to get along with once people learn to worship me.
Oh.
That's the word ex and once. I don't have a beer gut. I have a protective covering my rock hard abs.
That's right.
Actually, I do have a bear gut. My mother always told me if you have a big tool, build a big shed around it to protect it. Yeah. I read recipes the way I read science fiction. I get to the end and think, well, that ain't gonna happen. This is also true. This happened in my real life. A computer once beat me at chess, but it was no match at kickboxing. Did you know we have enough youth? How about a fountain of smart?
That would be good.
Yeah. There, now we're talking.
Yeah. And did you also know that you don't need a parachute to go skydiving? You need a parachute to go skydiving twice.
Twice. Right. Right.
Right.
Good.
First time.
That's good.
Once you leave that airplane, Mr. Ripcord becomes your friend.
Letting go of a loved one can be hard, but sometimes it's the only way to survive a rock climbing catastrophe. Sorry, honey. Why does someone believe you when you say there are 4 billion stars, but checks when you say the paint is?
What? I that what?
Wait, this way.
Why does someone believe you when you say there's 4 billion stars,
Yeah.
but they'll check if you say the paint is wet?
That's right.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
Yeah, they'll check, right?
People are
Right.
stupid.
I guess it's easier to check that than count 4 billion stars.
I guess. This is true too. I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every single minute of it.
That's right. Damn
Amen,
straight.
brother. Amen.
Kennedy is so overrated.
There are 3 kinds of people. Those who can count and those who can't.
3 kinds. I got that one.
I'll have all the money I'll ever need if I die by 9 p.m. tomorrow night.
I'm right there with you, bro.
Okay. Here's my last one. No, it isn't.
Oh,
It's not my last one. Relationships are a lot like algebra. Have you ever looked up your ex and wondered why?
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
I know it 10 times.
I'm excellent at multitasking. I can waste time, be unproductive, and procrastinate all at once.
All at the same time.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Multitasking.
Apparently, I snore real so loudly, it scares everybody else in the car driving. Why is the road to success always unstructured?
Always what?
Always under construction.
Oh, under construction.
That's for sure.
And true
Tax
that
dollars,
is.
all that work.
Ugh.
You know you're ugly when it comes to a group picture and they hand you the camera.
Yeah.
Say here.
Glad you're here, buddy. Take our picture.
Scientists say the universe is made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. They forgot to mention morons.
And that's true.
The most common element out there.
There's more of those, I think.
Thieves broke into my house. They stole everything except my soap, shower gel, towels, deodorant. Damn dirty bastards.
Dirty bastard.
People used to laugh at me when I say I want to be a comedian. Well, nobody's laughing now.
Ah,
That was funny.
That your last one?
My last one is, if history repeats itself, I am so getting a dinosaur. And that's all I got to say.
All
right.
right.
big
Good
hand for the
Yay.
picture, y'all.
Thanks.
job.
Thanks, everyone.
Yay.
Good job.
Love Fiddler's one-liners. All right, Thibodeau and Clotilde, y'all, they're getting a divorce.
Oh no.
Now they had custody court. The judge looks sternly at Clotilde. Judge Abad, by the way. Why do you think you deserve custody of that child? Clotilde, she says, well, I brought him into this world, so I should have custody. The judge, well, that is a simple yet very good answer. Very good reason. Then the judge looks over at Thibodeau and says, why do you think you deserve custody of this child, sir? Thibodeau thought long and hard about his response. After a brief moment of silence, he says, well, if I put money into a Coke machine and I get a Coke, is it mine or is it the machine's?
Oh!
Right?
Oh!
Yeah, I didn't think the women would like that one too much. That's all right.
Ouch.
Boudreaux and Marie getting ready for bed last night. Marie takes off all her clothes, lays
Ooh.
on the bed, spread eagle. She looks at Boudreaux with a soft, sultry voice. She says, you know what I want, right? Boudreaux looks at her and he says, yeah, you want the whole bed to yourself again.
She stinker.
Oh no.
Think they got mixed signals going on over there, y'all.
You think? Yeah.
All right, here's another one the women ain't gonna like. Boudreaux and Marie was walking around at the Louisiana State Fair when they walked through the livestock area. Now they was walking through the area where the bulls were all pinned up.
Oh,
And
boy.
Marie noticed that they had signs on one pin that stated that that particular bull had mated 50 times last year. Stud. She looked at Boudreaux. She says, huh, that's almost once a week, Boudreaux. The next bull they walked to had a sign saying that bull had mated 70 times last year.
Whoa!
Again, Marie looks over at Boudreaux. She said, Boudreaux, that's more than once a week. You can take lessons from that there bull. Now, as they walk on, the next pin has a sign. Says that that particular bull had mated 365 times last year.
Wow!
Now, Marie, she's totally flustered now. She looks at Boudreaux and she says, damn it, Boudreaux, that's every day. You could really learn something from this one. Boudreaux calmly looks at Marie. He says, Marie, yeah, but I'll be willing to bet you that that was not 365 times with the same cow.
Oh! Oh!
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Amen to that.
Careful, guys. Careful.
Ah.
You're the one that said it.
All right. Let's see. This one's got New York in it. It might be good.
New York.
New York.
Boudreaux and Thibodeau go up to New York. They go to an employment agency looking for jobs. And at the agency, they ask Boudreaux, said, what do you do down there in South Louisiana? Boudreaux says, I'm a pilot. Thibodeau goes in. Oh, wait. I'm a pilot. And they said, great. We have some great jobs for pilots. And they moved them on to the next thing. Thibodeau goes in. They said, what do you do down there in South Louisiana? He says, I'm a sugarcane cutter. Now, agent said, no, we ain't got no jobs like that. We ain't got no sugarcane up here. Now, Thibodeau said, you just gave my buddy Boudreaux a job, and he's only a pilot. He can't pilot till after I cut it.
I'll it, yes.
Pilot. Some of that Cajun dialect going in there, screwing everything up. But that happens. And when that does happen, I usually just get off stage. Y'all ready for Jim? Jim, you ready?
Jimbo!
All right, y'all. Let's welcome up Jim to the stage.
Jimbo! Jimbo.
Hey, Jim.
Hello, hello. Good evening, good evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm going to start out by saying this is my last joke.
Okay. All right,
You're not
everybody.
performing
warm
anymore
up.
ever again?
Big
You
hand
said
for Jim.
last joke, so I flattered you.
That was good, Jim.
Oh, but, okay. A little person walks into a bordello and he opens his pants and shows his penis with a tattoo reading little. The new girl says, I think I can handle this. And she goes up with him up the stairs. And later she staggers down the stairs. And the ladies ask, what happened with little? Little, she said. It was actually Little Rock, Arkansas National Championships 1969.
Oh, damn.
A newly married Chinese couple on their wedding night were starting to consummate. He was inexperienced but didn't want her to know. So he asked her, he said, you know, I know you're frightened, but I'll do whatever you want. What do you want? She said, well, I've heard other girls talk about the number 69. He said, garlic chicken fried rice?
Uh-huh.
Girlfriend said,
Never mind.
Fried rice. There you go.
my girlfriend said she's going to trade me in for a new smartphone because a smartphone always listens. Smartphone has a mute button. You can easily turn off a smartphone's notifications. Smartphones come with instructions. They don't complain about charging. You can trade in a smartphone when you're ready for an upgrade. They have silent mode. And best of all, they have silent and vibrate mode.
Oh.
I always told myself that I would try the No Tears baby shampoo one day, and the day finally came. It was my father's funeral.
Oh, man.
Aww.
God, that's so wrong.
I'm
That's
trying to
really wrong.
picture us a bunch
Where are
of
my
soap
tomatoes?
on his bald head.
Saw that guy.
Alone in my place for a while, I decided to order pizza delivery just to see another human's face. I thought it would cheer me up, but I cried instead. It was delivered by drone.
Oh. Oh.
When I'm in my 20s, I was a waiter. One day, a woman told me her glass smelled like a man's crotch.
Whoa.
I said, "Have you tried your other hand?"
That's nasty.
That's gross.
Now, once in a while, I look up odd news and I write jokes based on what I see there. So these next three jokes I wrote based on odd news. A man got stuck in a chimney while trying to get his dog out of a locked Parks bathroom. It didn't make sense to me until I found out the dog's name was Santa's Little Helper.
Ah, boy.
The Rhode Island Animal Rescue Group is seeking a new home for a 20-year-old parrot with rated R vocabulary. The only non-rated R phrases he says are thank you and good morning, baby. The rest is slurs and curses. The group has had a multitude of inquiries, though, from porn producers and middle school boys. People leave things on buses all the time, but the British transport company Megabus shared they have found hay bales, a cooking wok, a frozen turkey, and false teeth. There was no indication if the teeth were chomping the turkey or not. Other reported items were Winnie the Pooh stuffed toy and a jar of honey.
There's Winnie the Pooh again.
Everything
company-
ends in poo.
My last joke is about your butt. I mean, the company urged people to report lost items on their website because 95% of items found are returned to the original owner. I think the other 5% were people's virginity.
Ooh, can return that.
My girlfriend was complaining about her small breasts. I suggested she rub toilet paper between them for a few seconds every day. She said, that won't work. I said, why not? It worked for your butt.
Ooh.
Sometimes you have to hug the people you don't like so you know how big a hole to dig to bury them.
Very dark. Very dark.
Our last joke. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Big hand
Yay.
for Jim, y'all.
Yay, thank you, Jim.
Woohoo!
Big Bo.
All right, get myself centered up here. All right, after they had been married about 20 years, Marie woke up in the middle of the night and noticed that Boudreaux was not in bed next to her.
Oh,
She got up, she went looking, and she finally found Boudreaux sitting outside on the front porch, crying like a little girl.
Oh.
She said, Boudreaux, what the hell's wrong with you? Now, he says, Marie, you remember 20 years ago, we were fooling around, and you got pregnant, and your pa told me either marry you or I was going to jail? Marie says, well, yeah, I remember that. The hell that's got to do with you crying out here like a little girl? Boudreaux's bawling his eyes out. He says, well, today I'd have got out of jail.
Oh, God.
Aw.
That's very bad.
That's very funny.
love that one. That's good.
All right. Thibodeau went to the sea. He went to see Father Boudreaux down at the Catholic Church to ask him if he would do a funeral service for his favorite coon dog that just had died. Father Boudreaux, he says that they don't got no masses for no animals, but that there is a new church just right down the bayou, and they may do animal services. Well, Thibodeau says, well, okay, I'm going to go over there right now. Do you think $10,000 donation will be enough for them to do a service? Father Boudreaux, oh, my friend, come on inside. You didn't told me that your coon dog was Catholic. Makes all the difference in the world, you know.
Ducks, honey dogs.
Salvation ain't that expensive when it comes down to it. Priest will accept anything. All right, before I get zapped by the thunder and go to hell or something,
Boy.
let me find another joke that will redeem myself.
Get in line,
back in
buddy.
some better favor with the great Lord.
There's a long line.
And I ain't got the joke to do it either. Where the hell's that St. Peter joke I had? I know I got one somewhere.
Do a control F and put Peter in it.
That's good. Oh,
All right,
if you
Boudreaux and
if you
Marie.
do that, you're bound to come up with a lot of stuff. Go ahead. Sorry.
Boudreaux and Marie was watching one of those TV preachers on the tube last night when the preacher looked straight into the camera and announced, he said, my friends, I would like to share my healing powers with all of you watching at home tonight. I would like all of you with any ailments to place one hand on the top of the TV and the other hand on a part of your body that ails you.
Huh.
And I will heal you.
Uh-oh.
Notice he didn't ask for no check or nothing. Marie gets up, walks to the TV, placed one hand on top of it and the other on her belly, since she had been having terrible stomach aches lately. Now Boudreaux, he gets up, walks up to the TV, places one hand on top of the TV and the other hand, well, he grabs his crotch.
Oh,
Marie looks at Boudreaux and says, Boudreaux, the preacher said he's going to heal the sick, not raise the dead.
I tell you, man, that's awesome.
All right, y'all. It's 8 minutes after the hour. That means we did a complete hour. Y'all did.
Yay!
Congratulations. Absolutely.
Hey,
All right,
thank you,
everybody.
Ray.
I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight, spending your time with us, telling us your jokes, and laughing at our jokes. And
Yay!
Jim, you got any announcements you want to do?
I think I'm doing comedy again tonight at 7. I believe they're going to start doing it every week. The MAC is where it is. So
Okay.
send me an
okay.
IM.
I'll be offline, but
Yeah, and I don't know what the stage setup is going to be for a match game. Well, I do know Wild K's hosting though.
Hey.
don't say that. Then people ain't gonna come. Don't tell them that. Then people's not gonna come.
Oh, they gonna come.
Oh yeah, we will. I love when you host.
Host.
I do.
All right, good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, Nick.
Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
for everything.
Yes, thank you, Nick.
Don't forget to tip the cash register
I'll
behind the
be
bar.